So we make our way out of the cave, and as you can see here, night has come. The moon's out, probably just rising. More candles. Two paths here. Let's see. This time I think I actually want to go to the right first, because I think that's where the dead end is. More clothes with a tent. Perhaps the narrator was here.
The moon over the Sanford Junction, headlights in your retinas. Donnelly drove a grey hatchback without a bottom. All the creatures of the tarmac rose to sing to him. All manner of symbols crudely scrawled across the cliff face of my unrest. My life reduced to an electrical diagram. All my gulls have taken flight. They will no longer roost on these outcrops. The lure of the moon over the Sanford Junction is too strong.
So this is the first time that the narrator himself has mentioned seeing visions of electrical diagrams. Makes me wonder if he was the one who's been making all these pictures on the walls. It's kind of pretty. You can see all the candles that have been lit up here. Now that I think about it, I think I actually want to go back to the left first, because actually I think our way forward is up that hill. So let me actually back up just a little bit, and we'll go down and around. It's a pretty sizable electrical diagram just over there. So you might take a little shortcut across the pond here. There we go. Very pretty moon. See the stars are out. I don't see any constellations I recognize, but then again, I don't know if they're using a real sky or if they're just making random stars. I've seen both in my days as a gamer. Completely unrelated, but in most modern Legend of Zelda games that have a sky with stars in it, you can usually see Orion in the sky. I don't know why that just came to me, but there it is. Busted dock. So anyway, I just checked over there just to see if there's anything, you know, interesting. Didn't catch anything. So we'll go this way. Take the lower road around the rock here. Oh, we can go this way. You see a little candle out on one of the broken docks. Or piers, maybe I should say. Yeah, we could have gotten to it this way as well. Broken boats. Ooh, this is precarious. It ends at the single candle. With a little bit of, you can see a little bit of wispy smoke coming out of it. It's nice to have little details like that. Thank goodness I have a good sense of balance. So if we continue on our original way, we would have come right along there, and I'll show you where we would have descended. I wonder if this used to be like a dry dock or a place where you could, you know, intentionally park your
Fire and soil,
boats.
I chose fire. It seemed the more contemporary of the options, the more sanitary. I could not bear the thought of the reassembly of such a ruin. Stitching arm to shoulder and femur to hip, charting a line of thread like traffic stilled on a motorway, making it all acceptable for tearful aunts and traumatized uncles flown in specially for the occasion. Reduce to ash, mix with water, make a phosphorescent paint for these rocks and ceiling.
So here is the one shadowy figure that I saw on my first playthroughs. You can see right to the right of the fire is a figure of a person just kind of hanging out there. So, and that's about as close as these shadows usually get. They pretty much vanish once you get anywhere near them, so you have to kind of be very much on the lookout for them. But that's the one that I know that I definitely found when I first played. I think I found another one, but I can't remember where. But there's supposed to be at least several of them. Okay, so again, if we had come down from top one, we would have come this way. We'll go in that cave in a second. Just want to make sure I'm not missing another cave here. I think it's actually just a small little shrine. Yeah. So here's a shrine, or at least that's how I think about it. So hear the distorted music. We see a ruined car, a broken car door and broken tire, laid out very much like we saw on the first beach, but now with blood splattered on it. Another ruined car on a very broken road. He's still there. Of course, the first time I played this, I didn't know that these were supposed to be apparitions that just vanished. And so I was perfectly prepared to actually go up there and talk to somebody. And then, of course, when I went up there, I couldn't find him. So once again, we have gauze, bloody gauze, pills, surgeon's tools, syringes, and we actually saw this out in the cargo ship area, and I thought it was maybe a phone because of that handle there. But now that I see it here, it's a defibrillator. So this time we will go off to the right. And this part right here is going to pretty much mark what the narrator called his final ascent. Because as you can see, now that we're away from the cliffs, the aerial is right there. And in fact, this final chapter is called, I believe, the aerial. Don't see anything of particular note around here. Some more beach, some more candles. Another cave here. Actually, I want to make sure I didn't miss this cave. If it is another cave. Or maybe it's just one big cave. No, it's not. This is a separate cave. I've seen that one before. Let's see what this little mini shrine has. I see a person with a crutch, maybe? And I can see that it's broken. There's a lot of shattered lines from the glass frame on top of it, I'm assuming. Could that be Esther as a young girl? I have no idea. At least Esther is the only female name that's been mentioned so far. See what's around here. Some more stones. Now we have a door, exhaust pipe, tires, and an axle, all being enshrined by candles.
There were chemical stains on the tarmac, the leak of air conditioning, brake fluid and petrol. He kept sniffing at his fingers as he sat by the roadside, waiting as if he couldn't quite understand or recognize their smell. He said he'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter. He'd stopped for farewell drinks earlier, but had kept a careful eye on his intake. He could hear the sirens above the idling traffic.
Once again, it's something, especially with the vision we had in the cave, there was definitely something happened involving some kind of car crash. It seems pretty clear now. Although what, I'm not sure. We have another statement here, but it's, as we go this way, I mean, it's quite being read backwards, so I'm going to need to go to this end to actually read it. First thing, however, I'm just going to take a little detour over here, just in case. Because there are candles around here, so you never know. More dead birds. Those look like seagulls.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
So that explains why we saw the paper boats in the cave. It might have been that if he indeed set these little paper boats to sail here, some of them may have been drawn by the currents, maybe into the cave's water system. At least that's the only thing I can think of. You gotta wonder if, like, all of his narration is actually on these pieces of paper. Certainly possible. There's a bunch of them, too. Alright. I'm going to go back up this path here, just so we can read that statement that was written on the wall. Ariel's still there. there it is. Let's see if we can read this. A light from heaven shone around him. I believe that's also a reference to Paul the Apostle in the book of Acts, I believe. So now we're going to make our way over here. So this Paul person seems to have been involved in some kind of accident that presumably included the narrator and maybe Esther as well. I'm not sure at this point. Let's have a look over here. Another loading dock area, just like similar to where we started from. Let's see. Something on a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. Just continuing on the verse, I believe. We have some seagull eggs, at least I'm assuming it's seagulls, considering the dead birds we've seen. In a nest, once again enshrined. Get another last look at the boats here. Little paper boats. Nice little reflection of the moon on the water. Looks like something was etched into the concrete, but it's way too blurry to read. So our last choice here is to actually, as I mentioned before, begin the ascent. So these stairs are going to climb upward and towards that aerial from now on. Old stone wall here. Act as a guardrail, I guess, so to speak. More of the wire fencing. Barbed wire fencing at that. I'm not sure why you'd need that kind of fencing in a lonely, isolated place like this.
Teeth running over the edge of the rocks. A moon that casts a signal as I lay pinned beside you. The ticking of the cooling engine, and the calling from a great height, all my mind as a bypass.
Okay, that actually makes me think that he and the narrator and Esther were actually both at that accident. Let's see what's over here first. You can see that ghostly figure is still there. See if there's anything to be done down this little area here. I don't think so. Just comes out the same place. Yeah, okay. Just two different ways to get to the same place. I want to get over there. I think I can. Just gotta climb up one of these sides here. And maybe I can come up on the other side. Yeah, I can.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
So ideas of flying now. So here's the place where the ghostly image was standing, and of course now it's gone. But this is the candle right here. Even though it's dark, you can still hear the seagulls and the flapping of their wings. So, you know, you have to wonder, who are the shadows? Are they from the people that the narrator mentioned? Are they the ghost of the narrator himself? Here we have, and as he was proceeding on his journey, presumably talking about Apostle Paul again, which of course is what we're doing, proceeding on our journey here. And was come near to Damascus. And he was...
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
You can see that the lighting, ambient lighting here changed a little bit as I came in. And he was 3 days without, I think it says, without sight. Which of course was the consequence of what happened when Jesus appeared to him, I believe. And neither did he eat nor drink. Slowly but surely, we are getting closer to that aerial. Side passage up here.
Returning to my car afterwards, hands still shaking, and a head split open by the impact. Goodbye to tearful aunts and traumatized uncles. Goodbye to the phenomenal. Goodbye to the tangible. Goodbye Wolverhampton, goodbye Sanford, goodbye Cromer, goodbye Damascus. This cliff path is slippery in the dew. It is hard to climb with such an infection. I must carve out the bad flesh and sling it from the aerial. I must become infused with the very air.
You can kind of see down there all of the individual candles we passed on our way up. You can see, get an idea of how high we are now. My guess was this is where the maintenance tools or stuff was for taking care of the aerial. believe there's a way in. Yeah. Let's see what's on the other side. Looks like we get to indulge in some more diagrams. There are those chalk lines again that he mentioned way at the beginning. Thought I saw a shadow there move. I'm not sure what was casting it. Got some more writing here on our way up. You can see the fencing for the aerial is now starting. Extreme danger. Unfenced cliff ahead. Keep away. And it came to pass that as I made my journey, watch out, as they say, unfenced up here, in my journey, and was some what is that? Some night, some nigh unto Damascus. Okay, that might have been actually. Boy, I almost fell off there. That actually might be Paul recounting his story of his encounter. Ooh, almost enough to give you some vertigo there. Alright. At least there's a railing on that side. Almost there.
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
Trying to read the side here, it's a bit awkward. I was paying attention to not falling and I forgot to see if there are any other words here. I believe this is just the same lines. Just continued out. Suddenly there came from heaven a light. That came from heaven a light round about me, and assuming there's an eye somewhere over there, I could not see for the glory of, I'm assuming there's an of somewhere, of that light, I guess, being led by the hand of men. No, by the hand of them. Sorry. Of course, Paul was not alone when he had his revelation, and so I believe that he had companions help him after he became blind. Yeah, of them that were with me. That's what that says. Man, it's windy up here. I came into, is all that says. Damascus. Which is nicely put right below the aerial there. Hear the sound of the rattling fences now. And actually hear a little bit of the groaning of the aerial itself. There it is. Almost to the end.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air, white lines etched into these rocks.
So once we ascend the stairs here, this will conclude the game.
Dear Esther, I have burned the cliffs of Damascus. I have drunk deep of it. My heart is my leg, and a black line etched on the paper all along this boat without a bottom. You are all the world like a nest to me. Eggs unbroken form like fossils, come together, send small black flowers to the air. From this infection, hope. From this island, flight. From this grief, love.
Come back.